right, guys, we are here with a very special video today. We're at Lake Cliff, and right over there is the new Titleist GT Series drivers where I'll be getting fitted for mine. I'm excited to see the changes. We'll meet some of the guys. We'll learn about some of the specifics behind it. We'll see my numbers. I'm excited to help you guys learn a little bit more. Let's do it. All right, we are here with Jordan Tabarell from Titleist, Austin, Texas rep. Southern Texas, what are we?
Austin, San Antonio.
Laredo.
Laredo,
that's a long drive.
It is a long drive.
Yes. So he's going to tell us a little bit about what's under the hood. We're going to see the interior workings. Take it away, Jordan.
Okay. The benefit of you not being in a group is that you can ask all the questions that you want, and I know you will. So before I get into GT, I think it's beneficial to kind of see where we've been. And obviously we knew when we were launching TS that we needed a product that was faster. TS gave us that. TS ended up as the #1 driver on the PGA Tour. And that momentum carried into TSR, TSI, TSR. Those are both the #1 drivers on tour. But again, we're always looking at how we can get a little bit better. And they've been talking about this driver for several years now, probably upwards of 6 years, because we knew we had some special technology, but we had to get there. And so GT is generational technology. That's what it stands for. We know we've got something really special. You just hit it. You didn't get to hear the tech side on it yet because we wanted to kind of unveil what's under the hood after you got to experience it. And I would ask you, was there anything that threw you off from a look, a sound, a feel, or was it what you come to expect from a Titleist driver?
The look was great. I actually love the change in the sound.
Okay.
A little more muted.
Yep.
Obviously sound plus vibration tells you things, right? That's what feel is. But I want to say, like, I could feel it faster off the face. I mean, I was gaining, I don't know what my final numbers were. We'll go back to that, but it definitely was like 3 to 5 with the driver.
Awesome.
So.
Awesome.
Yeah, I mean, it's everything you expect from Titleist. I love that, also that muted color on the sole.
Yep.
That's a really interesting kind of look, because you go, okay, maybe they'll do it on the top. But I think if you guys did that on the top, that would.
We don't get too crazy. We don't get too crazy. We do not. But, you know, when we jump into the tech side, there's probably 5 things that I think are very impactful for this driver launch. The first being the aerodynamics, and we felt like with TSR there were some opportunities to improve. It was more of a flatline sole. You see more curvature in the sole now, and the way it meets the boat tail on the back end creates less drag. Obviously faster in the air means we're going to get a little bit more ball speed along the way, and that's ultimately going to be our goal, right? But cleaner transition to the top line, and even this is the 2 head, but if you noticed in the 3 head the weight was on the sole.
Yes.
That created a little bit drag. That weight, you know, the rear side of the weight carrying over the backside created some drag. So that's why in the 3 head you'll find it more centrally located and flush on the driver for that reason. So it's faster in the air. Now that's probably the least exciting component of the technology story. You know, this one is what throws everybody off, which is that we are now using a multi-material construction for the first time. So this is where the technology really shifts for us. And as I put this down, there's 2 things worth noting. So this is the unfinished crown. This is a proprietary matrix polymer, which is a resin polymer, which is very different from all the other composite drivers that you will see in the marketplace. And the reason we went with this resin polymer is because of sound. And this is why this driver has been so long in the making, is because we had to find the right materials on the crown to drive a sound that you know and expect from Titleist. So it's resin polymer, but I would tell you that doesn't sound like a composite crown. No. So that is the big feature. Because when you hit it in your hand, it sounds plastic, you know, like some kind of plastic. But then when you drop it, it's unbelievable.
It sounds like metal.
We got a really good R&D team, really good. But they're the same thing. This is the finished product. But this is 1/3 of the weight of our TSR crown. That's a lot of weight savings in a driver. where we can displace, and we'll get to that in a second.
Yeah.
But the other component of this crown is this is a seamless thermoform crown. It is unbelievably durable.
Whoa, do that again. It's crazy.
But it's exceptionally durable. In fact, the salesman, they took a hammer to it and it didn't break. It is unbelievably durable. Yeah. And so we're excited about that. You know, it's seamless because we want you to look down and see that traditional Titleist look that you come to expect. You know, one of the things that we can do now, obviously with the way this is built, you know, that thermoform is effectively, it's the process of heating it up and turning the shape into what we want, right? But you see how it wraps around the edges of that driver?
Yeah. And
the reason that is important is because it limits the amount of epoxy that we need to adhere this to the driver.
Wow.
And what we see with a lot of the composite drivers in the marketplace is that they use so much epoxy to keep it in place that it negates all the weight savings you get from going to a composite.
Wow, it's that much.
It's that much. So,
and they break a lot too.
And then this should be very durable.
Yeah.
But you can kind of see where it wraps around the sides, and so it's already very adhered to the driver head itself. Now we just need some epoxy, very little amount, to really get it to where we want it to be.
I love it.
So,
like less sugar. It's like less sugar.
We got something pretty good here. We do. But we are super pumped. Now, obviously, we have a lot of weight savings. So we've displaced this into two places, right? So we've gone in to the front area, which pushes our CG lower and forward to drive more ball speed, lower spin. But we're not interested in giving up stability. We want high MOI. And there's more weight in the back now to help from an MOI perspective. So we are driven behind total performance. We're not just looking for MOI, we're not looking for speed, we're not looking for low spin, we're looking for all three. We're a different package than I think what you're getting at a lot of the drivers in the marketplace. We hear a lot about 10K right now.
Yes.
10K's been around for decades.
For sure.
It's not new technology, but you know what we do know is that when you're only focused on MOI, you're sacrificing something along the way, and we're not willing to do that.
Yeah, I would say I've hit some of the other drivers that was like, okay, it's a better iteration than their previous generation, but I don't think they're necessarily where they think they're at.
Yep.
It's good stuff.
Yep.
But it's funny that you guys don't talk about that really much at all, because you're always hovering there anyway, right? The conversation is there, so it doesn't even.
I think the important thing too, when we look at what's happened on tour, right? We had the #1 driver with TS, TSI, TSR. GT in the first week at the Memorial had 13 drivers in play. It was a limited event field. That was the #1 driver the first week on tour. Last week at the US Open, we had 19 in play, which was the #1 driver. If you factor in TSR, we had 56 in play. So more than a third of the field at the US Open was playing a Titleist driver. That's impactful. Now what we're seeing is when you look at what's happening with non-contract players, we got a lot of them.
Well, we know,
we got a lot of them.
We've always seen that.
Cantlay has now moved from TS. Cantlay never changed his product. He moved to GT. Patrick Rogers, Adam Scott.
He almost won.
And he almost won. Patrick Rogers, Adam Scott, Justin Rowe. I mean, there's a long list of either people that have switched in or said, hey, send me this driver because I want to test this at home and put it in the bag. So we couldn't be more excited about where we are, the direction we're going. You know, the only other component is the face.
Tell me about that.
So there's two things at play here, and we've never put them together on a driver, but you've got the speed ring around the exterior of the face, which helps us drive more ball speed on center strikes. And we've coupled it with the VFT, which is our variable face thickness. So you'll notice that it's not an even thickness in that insert. It depends on the location, but it's either thinner or thicker, and that helps us drive more ball speed on off-center strikes. So, you know, one of the feedback pieces we received off our first week on tour was off-center strikes. They were amazed at how the ball speed maintained and the spin maintained, and we didn't see these huge fluctuations when you catch something off the heel or low on the face. So the consistency is where we've found something really, really special.
Awesome. Jordan,
now, you want to, you know, I'll give you a little blurb on fairways if you want. So the construction on the fairway is very similar. And, you know, fairways aren't driven solely around speed, right? We're looking at launch windows. We're looking at pairing speed with spin with launch because we're trying to hit a number. And so we do have the thermoform crown on the fairway woods, but we've also added in what's called an L-face cup insert. So it works almost similar to like a T200 where you've got the L-face insert. It helps us drive more speed and a consistent spin when we're catching it low on the face, which is the tendency when you're looking at a fairway wood. Right. The other thing is we've almost taken it and smushed it down a little bit because it sits flusher with the turf. Contact is better, it's easier to get up in the air. They're fantastic as well. And now you know the tech behind GT.
Yes, it's interesting. I think for some, some people are just like, yeah, it's an every 2 years thing. But like you said, they've been working on this for 6.
It's been a while in the making.
Yeah, definitely some different feels, without a doubt. It's an interesting thing. The fairway wood, to me was interesting because the TSR2 the GT2 head shapes actually was really reminiscent of the original of the TSI3 13 that I played. I saw, to me, there was a big jump between the shape of the TSI3 to TSR3, smaller, less round, but I was like, I don't know if I want to try the 2 here, but I was like, it didn't bother me at all, and I had some great shots, and I thought maybe without the weight track feeling left or right, I tend to keep it middle anyway, so I wasn't getting necessarily the benefit of that, but I was really pleasantly surprised. And oddly enough, when I tried the 15-degree GT3, I was thinning a little bit, and then he mentioned, there's a deeper face. So the deeper face with the added loft was a whole interesting thing. And then I didn't even think about the head shape anymore once I started hitting better shots with the 2. So some really, really interesting things that this brings up. And
we're pretty excited for this one. There's a lot of buzz surrounding it. There's a lot of buzz on tour, not just in the marketplace with consumers interested, but the tour buzz is very good. That means we got something I think that's pretty special.
Yeah. Well, thanks for having me, Jordan. As always, a pleasure illuminating. And remember, stay focused, keep practicing. We'll see you at the next one.